Right, so there's a lot of confusion around pure components, and they are really simple to understand. And I guess that the confusion it's because we need to understand which problems pure components solve. Okay, so first we're going to discuss the problem, and then I'm going to tell you how to solve it. So I'm going to go back to live, to this route, to the live route right here. And of course, we have everything else. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment all the code we have right here, and I'm just going to leave the state. That's the only thing I'm going to leave right here. So we have a state with the title, which is the text that it's getting rendered right here. If we go at the bottom, we have the H3 with this that state the title, and we have a button to change the title to something else. Okay, that's real simple. Every time that we load this component, it's going to console log a render message right here. So we get rendered. Okay, that's fine. So now if I go to click the change, we're gonna change the title for something else, and React will re-render this component and show the new title, which is something else. Good. So I'm gonna go and do click to change. Let me unmark this. Click to change. Oh, nothing happens. There we go. So we get something else. That's good. And right here we get the first render with the first title, and then it's gonna re-render. So we get the second render. So that's good. Now, what happens if I keep clicking this click to change? I'm going to go right here, I'm going to click it, and we get render again. If I click it again, we get render, and we get, we just keep getting rendered. Now, if we think about this is the actual problem. We are not changing the title. The title, it's always the same. It's something else whenever we change it for the first time. So why is React re-rendering the application since we have the same value? So this is the problem. Sometimes you can have a larger application with a lot of data going around, and some things are going to be changing, some other things are not going to change, but React will always re-render whenever we trigger something. So with pure components, we could detect if the state changes, and if the state changes, then it's going to re-render. If not, it's not going to re-render. So if you remember with the should component update, we could do this logic manually. I'm gonna go and uncomment should component update. I'm gonna reload the page. So right here, we are gonna say if the next state of title, it's something else, which is what we have right here at the bottom, the return is false. So the application will not re-render. So I'm gonna click the change, and it's changing it first, and then, oh, let me save it. Let's go again, sorry. I'm gonna go and click the change, and of course nothing happens because this rule, it's met, so we return false. Now, the thing is that this information, it's hard-coded. How can we check the previous state? So what we could do, we can say that state, and then of course title. And we're gonna be comparing the next title with whatever thing that we have inside the state. So right now we have life cycles. And we are changing, and of course we are changing to something else. So this state will not be the same, so this will not happen, and it's gonna go and change the state and re-render the application. Notice that right here we get the first render. Okay, so I'm gonna click the change, we change it to something else, that's good. So it's rendered for the second time. So if I click it again, it's not going to render. This condition is met, so it's returning false. Now again, imagine you have a lot of data, a lot of state going around here, a lot of information. So what are you gonna create one scenario for every piece of state that you have? Well, that's kind of crazy. So React is gonna give us a component that we can use, and these are pure components. So right here we are doing class life extends component. So what we can do, we're gonna bring pure component. I'm gonna copy and paste it down here. I'm gonna go at the bottom, and I'm gonna just comment this out because we are not gonna need it. Okay, so I'm gonna reload the page. I'm gonna click to change, and of course the change is gonna happen because we have something else right here. Of course, we have a different title. I'm gonna click it, and of course it's re-rendering, so we get something else. Now if I click it, nothing happens. The pure component, it's checking the state, and since we don't have a real change inside the state, it's not gonna do anything. Good. This is really, really useful, and pure components are really popular today. And they make sense. Why reloading the whole application if the state it's the same? Okay, that's good. Let's go to the next lecture.